Hi everyone, Jeff Yastine here. Make sure to send me questions and comments. I'd love to hear from you. Send them to this email address, jeff@yastine.com. I also post a lot of daily commentary and different stock ideas on my Facebook page, so you can reach me there. The username is jeffyastine1, and of course you can follow me on Twitter as well. So I hope you are enjoying your Thanksgiving holiday. My wife and I decided to stay home with our son rather than travel. And whether you decided to do the same or otherwise, cherish your family and friends, and of course, stay safe. This is also a great day for reflection on where we've been and where we're going. And for a day like today, that applies to our stock picks as well. So often, someone like me, record a video about stocks I like and recommend, but how often, do we follow up and review how those stocks actually did, weeks or months later? So also, if you happen to buy one of those stocks on my recommendation, what do you do with it now, knowing I can't give personalized investment advice? Well, I've already covered in recent videos some recent ideas on energy stocks as well as financial stocks. So I'm not going to repeat those here, except that I think they'll continue to outperform the market in coming months. But looking further back, I recommended cruise line stocks in a video hosted by my colleague Roger Scott, which we filed on August 13th. Now, this was definitely a contrarian pick. And I still hear people say, cruise stocks, why would you ever buy them or recommend them in a pandemic? But as I noted in the video, those stocks had just gotten too cheap and were due for a nice bounce. And 3 months later, we're up 25% on Carnival and around 35% on Royal Caribbean. I'll take that bounce and a bounce of that size any day of the week. Now, that said, I would now sell both of those stocks and move to the sidelines. Now, the reason is mainly because both stocks are, one, due for a pullback, especially Royal Caribbean, which has moved up considerably above its 200-day moving average, and it's typical for stock to pull back to that line. And as you've probably seen in the news headlines, it looks like neither company is going to have any U.S. sailings in the first quarter of the year of 2021. And I think that will likely become an excuse for Wall Street to sell these stocks as we approach year end. So the idea here is to sell these stocks now and then watch for a pullback to buy back in later. And I'll keep an eye on that as well. Another contrarian pick of mine is airline stocks. I filed a video in late August and I said to buy shares in 3 airlines: Southwest, LUV, Delta, DAL, and Allegiant Air, ALGT. And since then, all 3 are up around 30%. Again, plenty of people doubted me and these stocks at the time. I heard lots of naysayers who said airline stocks would never take flight, pun intended, in the midst of an ongoing pandemic. Now, obviously, I thought otherwise. Now, I'm not a contrarian by nature, by personality, but when everyone says that airline stocks are terrible, I just know it's time to at least take a second look. Now, to me, I only saw a small amount of risk. Anyone who wanted to sell these had already, done so by August, so we knew where the bottom was. And on the reward side, there were still, some flights going out. Airlines also have mothballed hundreds of planes to desert boneyards for long-term storage. That means smaller fleets, fewer available seats for passengers to buy, and therefore higher ticket prices, which helps bottom lines. So it's simple supply and demand. I also said that drug companies are working on their COVID vaccines, and airline stocks would likely move higher in anticipation of those future announcements, which of course we've seen in the last few weeks. And that's exactly what's happened. So it's a simple mantra to keep in mind. Stocks move up or down in anticipation of future events. And the rise of airline stocks in the middle of a once-in-a-century pandemic is a classic example of that. So presuming that you own these, what should you do now? Well, you can continue to own them if you have a longer-term perspective. As we saw for the Thanksgiving Day holiday, there are plenty of people who just need to get away. And I expect we'll likely see the same demand leading up to Christmas and New Year's as well. But you should probably keep in mind another old market saying here: buy the rumor, sell the news. In August, when I recommended these stocks, the rumor, so to speak, was planes perhaps being more full than many people expected, vaccine developments like we're seeing now, and plenty of people willing to fly in the middle of a pandemic like we've seen here at Thanksgiving. Now, once we're past the holiday, we could well see a sell the news situation. We still have a COVID pandemic raging in our country as we wait for these first vaccines to be distributed. So just on the headlines alone, it probably means these stocks will come in for a round of selling soon and probably give back a portion of recent gains. So if you want to take short-term profits, much like we were talking about for cruise line stocks, I think we're in a good spot here to sell, move to the sidelines, and come back later on these. So 2 good trades, worked out great. And if you did well on any of these, let me know. Send me a message at this email address, jeff@yastine.com. I'd love to spread your good news to everyone else in an upcoming video. So until my next video, have a great Thanksgiving holiday.